Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 10th episode of our podcast. It is the Manchester United versus Burnley reaction. You know, looking at this game, when the team sheets came out, one would have thought, what the hell is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing? But 2 minutes before the halftime break, United score, and well, ever since then, it seemed like the game was just going to go into our favour. Of course, Burnley, with all their hard-fought efforts in the second half, it just wasn't enough. And of course, Marcus Rashford scoring in the dying embers like he usually does, and putting us 2-0 ahead. I think that puts us back in the top five. I'm not 100% sure. But it was an entertaining game. It was an entertaining game. And I think from the first minute right up until the 95th minute, Burnley were in the game, and that made it entertaining to watch. Obviously, United fans would have had their hearts in their mouths. So I hope you're having a good evening or good afternoon whenever you're listening to this. Gentlemen, let's get right into it. What are your thoughts after that game?
I'm super happy that we got 3 points, but I'm not really happy by the way we performed overall, to be honest.
What is it in particular that made you unhappy with United?
It's just, all these normal stuff. Sit back, then, we got a mistake. We couldn't, it's not our fault that we, took advantage of the mistake and we got the counter towards the end because Burnley had to push on. So I'm happy we got 3 points, but no plan B stuff. We didn't unlock them.
I don't know if I completely agree with that. Yeah, I disagree as well.
I think I disagree with you. I think it wasn't the most glamorous performance, but it was solid. I think it was a solid performance, and it showed a different side of us. I think we control the game. I mean, what happened with Burnley is what happens with us. They're a long ball team, but because there's so much of the ball, they couldn't do anything. So I think it's a step in the right direction, to be honest. I think, apart from the fact that it wasn't glamorous, I think it was a good game.
Definitely a season that's been riddled with consistency and uncertainty in the Manchester United camp. I think today, especially in the first half, we saw a Manchester United team that looked like they wanted to go forward and like they knew what they were doing. Yes, Burnley came out in the second half and fought really hard, and there's nothing much you can do about that, especially when you're playing a team that's not as strong as we've seen from Manchester United in the past. Aaron Wan-Bissaka not in the starting lineup. Luke Shaw not in the starting lineup. It's debatable whether or not Brandon Williams is the better of the two. I'm not going to get into that debate. Matic was in the middle of the park. McTominay wasn't there. Pogba wasn't there. And then you've got Greenwood missing from the front three. So it was a Manchester United team that we expected to struggle. And considering the context of where this team is, I think it was actually quite a good performance. I really do, especially in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think the only reason it wasn't maybe more glamorous is because, once again, quality. But then we try to play like that, and then the quality will come. So I'm quite happy about that performance. And on top of that, first clean sheet since September. I'm really happy about that.
Also, we've got to look at Burnley, a side that plays very well at home, very strong, very well drilled in their 4-4-2 formation. At home, a team under Sean Dyche that we know is a difficult opposition to get a result against because they don't make it easy. Yes, Manchester United should be beating a team like Burnley, but we knew coming into this game, we even spoke about it in the preview, we did say that this was going to be a tough one. This was like the bogey in our closet, and I think Burnley showed that today. They showed resiliency, but they unfortunately just didn't have the quality to match United. There was that one moment where I'm not really sure which Burnley player it was, but he took a shot and De Gea had to make quite a tricky save on the ground. That was a great save. That could have changed the match completely, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the way we set up? And I'm not talking about the tactics necessarily. I just mean the team selection. It was quite strange.
The team selection had me very panicky at the beginning. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I expected and I understand why he did it, but when I didn't see Paul Pogba at all on the team sheet, I was like, oh my god, what's actually happening? That was like, what's happening? So yeah, I was a bit worried, but it paid off, didn't it?
It did pay off.
I know.
It did.
Yeah, no, at most, I agree. I was surprised with Paul Pogba. I think we all were. And, I never like Ashley Young on the right. But he wasn't bad today. He was quite decent. So
I felt like it would have been better if he didn't get that early injury also.
Early injury?
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
early
when he
knock
fell on the
when he
back.
landed on his back, and he looked a bit
Oh,
slow
okay.
after that. Looked a bit sluggish. Old man.
Okay, but he wasn't horrible. Yeah, no, I think it was.
No, he had
and
a
I
really
liked how
solid game.
I really liked how we matched Burnley's aggression. Like we were in that game through and through. So like I'm
Yeah.
quite happy about this performance.
Look, I think looking at this game, especially that second half, it's very easy to be negative as a United fan and say all we did was sit back. But again, football is a game that involves two teams of two halves. And at the end of the day, we were ahead. Burnley had to chase the game, and that's what they did. They tried to move forward, and there's nothing we could do but be resilient and try hit them on the break, because that was the context of the game, not because that's the way we set up.
Definitely,
With regards to the way we set up, I'm not going to lie, and I might seem like an idiot for saying this after it worked out, but I was very confused, and I thought this game was going to be a disaster, because I can completely understand some of the changes. Like Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting arrested is a good thing, because he plays so much for this team. McTominay, I understand that he's injured. There's nothing you can do about that. But when I saw Matic, Pereira, when I saw... Okay, Brandon Williams is a good player, so I'm not too worried about him starting over Luke Shaw. You know, they can share that role. But just the team setup, I was feeling a bit iffy about it, you know. And the fact that Greenwood didn't even come on also.
Yeah.
That was a bit worrying for me. But hey, we got over the line, didn't we? That's all that matters. We got the 3 points. We're back in top
Big
5.
3 points. Big 3 points.
That's a huge 3 points.
Something else I noticed, like as bad as Matic is, I feel like that style suits him better in the counter-attacking style, because I feel like in the counter-attacking style he just doesn't have the legs. In this style, he's not amazing, but he looks much better.
Because it was a slower game also, so it suited him.
Yeah. Plus, Matic is an experienced player, so he can play in this type of playing style a little bit better. Like, he has a very good grasp of what it is he needs to do. He may not have the execution, but having a grasp of what you need to do is a lot. It helps a lot, and I think Matic is evidence of that. I do want to bring some attention towards Marcus Rashford. Yes, the goal he scored wasn't glamorous. It wasn't spectacular, but he's gone on and done it again. You know, Marcus Rashford is in the kind of form that's almost inexplainable. You can't put words to describe this sort of thing, where he's just getting goals. It doesn't matter when it comes, if he's on the side, scrambling forward on the floor.
He's a goal scorer.
He's using his head, he's using his shoulder. For God's sakes, he's finding ways to score every game. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny.
He's impressed. Yeah, he's impressing me. He's becoming that goal scorer that we've all been longing for. To be honest, I think he can hit 20 if he doesn't get injured. Maybe not. I don't know about more than that, but I think he can get around the 20 mark. So like, it's really amazing.
We're still in 2019, and this man has got how many now? I know he's got like 14 or 15 in all competitions. I stand to be corrected.
I think it's 11.
11 in the Premier League.
Yeah. Third top goal scorer.
Yeah. So 9 more goals in 2020, and he'll be on 20, which is it's not hard to fathom, because he's just scoring every game now.
Dude.
Well, I guess we can move on to the most crucial part, or I would say the bread and butter of the match reactions, the player ratings. We can start with David De Gea. What did you guys make of it today?
I thought he bounced back really well. I thought this was a great De Gea performance. You know, that save he made was so important. You know, he looked a bit more confident today on the ball. You know, he didn't give it away. You know, he passed it out the back even when even that made me nervous, but he didn't make a mistake. So fair play to him, and you know what, he kept the clean sheet. So I'm gonna give David De Gea. I was gonna give him a 7, but I think because of that 8, because of that save, I'm gonna give him an 8.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go for a 6 for some reason. My bad.
No.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, really good performance.
Because that save is game changer. Like, if that shot goes in, it's like, you know, it is.
True. Yeah, good performance, good positioning, good awareness, world-class save. Yeah, he bounced like really well. I'm gonna give him a 7.
All right, then we got a 7 and an 8 for David De Gea. You know, I think I agree with both of them. You know, there's really nothing wrong. He didn't do anything wrong really today. His save might have changed the complexion of the entire game from a Burnley perspective. I mean, if he lets that in, Burnley are back in the game and they can sit back and get a draw. And, you know, United did sort of drop off in that second half. And so, yeah, I agree with that. What are we giving Ashley Young out of 10?
It's tough for Ashley Young. Not going to lie to you. I mean, like, you know, he kept the clean sheet again. You know, he was the captain. But, it's so tough, man. Like, I don't want to see
Ashley Young. Subject.
I'm going to give him a 7. You know, man got the clean sheet. You know, he did the scumbagginess. You know, he's Ashley Young.
Ashley Young is subject to criticism. I think Ashley Young is one of the only United players at the moment who's subject to criticism even when he's played well.
Oh, no, there's one coming up.
Dude, it was one of his better games, but Young's loose, dude. Young is a weak point in our defense, but he didn't have a horrible game, so I'm gonna give him a 6.
All right,
it's an average game.
I would give him a 6 also, but because the team kept a clean sheet, and it was our first clean sheet, I'm gonna give him a 7.
Definitely. Moving on to our centre half pairing, I think it was Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Lindelof, what are we giving him out of 10, gentlemen?
7 also. Kept the clean sheet, didn't really have much to do. He also had a bit of a scumminess, which I kind of liked. You know, but against Burnley, you need that.
Yeah, you need one of your defenders to be that scumbag in the centre half pairing at least.
The 7 as well.
Yeah.
I don't think he was amazing, but it was an above average performance, and they kept a clean sheet, so I'm going to say 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Very solid, Lindelof. That's what I thought of him. He was very solid. You know, there was no point where Lindelof was defending where I felt like he was going to cost a goal. So that's my little 2 cents on it. Harry Maguire.
Also, you know, he won his some battles in the air. You know, he didn't do much wrong also again, so kept the clean sheet 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I think they had a similar performance, both very solid, above average, so as well, 6.5. Didn't do much wrong.
All right, gentlemen. Brandon Williams, the youngster.
You know what? If I was Luke Shaw, I'd be boring, yeah? Hey, me, I'll be sweating if I was Luke Shaw. This kid, I really love Brandon Williams. I would pick him over anyone else at left back. So I'm gonna give back. And I thought going forward today was great. Going back also, you know, I thought he was incredible going back as well. So I'm gonna give Brandon Williams an 8.
An 8.
I know he has.
Yeah.
He has that drive and passion you see in McTominay, and he can cross a ball. There was that one cross with no one
again, but the guy who puts in a delicious cross, no one.
Yeah.
And we need that because we need to create more chances. So that was a solid performance. That he was our best defender. So I'm gonna give him a 7.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a player like Brandon Williams, exciting, young prospect, got a lot of football left in him, a long career ahead of him. And I think for Manchester United, this is really a gem in the defense because he's always in the game. That's what I would say about Brandon Williams. He's got that thing. And it's very strange because he's a defender. You know, you expect your defenders to be quiet. I know that's debatable because fullbacks are more involved in the modern game, but Brandon Williams he's just there. Yeah, it's a similar sort of thing to Trent. You know, obviously you can isolate specific attributes and say he's good at this, he's good at that, but there's just something about him that I can't quite put my finger on. He's just always in the game. Anyways, moving on into the midfield, then I think we'll start on the left with Matic, or was he playing on the right? I don't even know. Matic, what are you giving him out of 10? What did you make of his performance?
Bang average 6. I don't want to say anything, you know, because the team got the result at the end of the day. But man's done. Like, I just want, you know, I'm just going to keep him because you don't have midfielders, but you know what? This guy needs to, it's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6. Plus he gave the away a ball twice, and I was very worried, but you know what, he did, you know what, like I said, good team performance, so 6. Average.
And I don't think it was bad. And for the type of game, like, the play had to be clean, and I think it was clean enough. Like, he did what he had to do. He didn't make too many mistakes. So much like the 2 centre backs, I think it was above average. So I'm gonna go 6.5.
Yeah, I think with Nemanja Matic, there's not much to say about him. You know, today he did what was expected of him. I think we don't really expect much of him, but he did what he needed to do. Moving on then to Fred, the other man in the middle of the park. What did you guys think of him?
You know, I was trying to think of a cheesy name for my boy Fred, you know. Besides Fred the Red, you know. Yeah, Fredinho, you know, I don't know what. That was my man of the match today, by the way. Fred was my man of the match today. So I'm going to give Fred freaking 9. I didn't think he did anything wrong. I think this guy, like I said, every game, he's just getting better and better and better. He doesn't look tired. He looks like he just wants it every game. Freaking I love Fred.
He looks happy to be in a Manchester United shirt.
Yeah, and he doesn't, you know, it doesn't lose the ball defensively, doesn't make stupid decisions going forward. He always picks the right pass. I'm just so pleased with Fred. So, yeah.
Although that decision to shoot on a free kick.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that free kick.
That was a bit suspect, but like
sometimes I feel though it's Oli. I think Oli is just that guy. Like, you know what, express yourself, take that shot and free kick, because we see
I think
banging free kicks from halfway lines.
No, I think it's confidence. I think it says a lot that he did that. So
yeah, and I think also, you know,
yeah. I think it was a solid performance. Like, he's too much. Like,
and it was
I didn't see him do anything wrong. So, and like, it's gone to a point where I'm starting to think like we don't really need. Okay, we need to sign players, but we don't need to sign an 8. Maybe it's more a 6 next to him, and maybe McTominay on the bench. But like, I can see him being first team going forward. He's playing that well, so I think he was man of the match, and I'm gonna give him an 8.
Yeah, what I'm starting to see in Fred is that, like, you know what, he can be our engine. We don't need to sign an engine, but we can sign creative players, because this guy, you know what, if we can keep fit, then you know what, he can continue performing like this. Oh, what a job.
I don't think he's the best defensively, but I think he's decent enough, and I think he's a really good 8. He can really run the midfield. So yeah, or 8/6.
Definitely. No complaints there, man. Pereira, who was playing in the number 10 today. I must say, I don't really have much to say on Pereira, and I'll get to your guys' thoughts in a moment. But it seemed like a bit of a quiet game for Pereira. Sorry, I don't know why I keep calling him Pereira, but it seemed like a bit of a quiet game for Pereira today. And I don't know, maybe I wasn't focused. Maybe my mind was elsewhere during the game every time Pereira got onto the ball, but I didn't see him. What did you guys think of him?
I thought Pereira did what that number 10 can do. You know, he can be quiet, but if he creates something, job done. And he did it again. And I prefer him over Mata. And then guys is going to play there. So my boy, you know, Pereira, he pressed. You know, he forced a mistake. He didn't do anything silly. He looked up, gave a simple pass through, bang, goal. Simple as you like. That's what I like. So I'm going to give Pereira a 7. And plus, he got subbed off also for Lingard.
I think he was quiet. Right. He was He was a bit more composed today. I'll give him that. He didn't make any dumb mistakes, as you said.
And I think he assisted, right?
Yeah, he got the assist. He pressed forward, made the mistake, got the ball, passed it in, go.
No, I think it was a solid performance. He didn't make too many mistakes. He was clean. Yeah, the whole midfield in general was pretty decent tonight. So I think we're seeing an improvement in the midfield. So,
and that was seeing.
Yeah, I remember back to Newcastle and I remember at Southampton where like we just couldn't create anything when we tried to hold the ball. So now it's not amazing, but it's slightly better. So yeah, I think he deserves a 7.
Daniel James.
I mean, I like Daniel James. You know, I did want to see Bruno come on later, but I got what I want every game from Dan James. You know, pace, endless effort, getting fouls because he just is that type of player. You know, he just puts in everything. He gets the fouls. He moves the ball. Puts in a cross. He got an assist today as well. So I think solid performance from Dan James. You know, I understand why people are giving him stick also, but for me, I got nothing wrong to say about Dan James. So I'm gonna give him a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was specifically tough for him to play this game because Burnley are like all dogs and they really fight.
Yeah.
So I was quite impressed with Dan James. He did exactly what I like about Dan James. You know, he made that run at the end, counter, put in a cross, goal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think I can agree with the 7. I mean, he's always causing problems in the movement. Like defenders can't keep up with him, especially quite big defenders, always fouling him. So yeah, I think it was a good performance from him, and he assisted. So yeah, I think 7.
Yeah, look, I think for all the Manchester United fans out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of them who are calling him a one-trick pony. I mean, even I've called him a speed merchant before. I think you've got to give the kid a little bit of credit because, firstly, he's young. Secondly, he almost came out of nowhere coming into Manchester United. So coming into a setup where there's a lot of pressure, I think he's done well. He's kept a level head. He's kept grinding. He's kept passionate. He kind of reminds me, the spirit I see from Dan James kind of reminds me of the same sort of spirit I see from McTominay. You know, there's this maturity about him. So yeah, solid performance. I can agree with the 7. Tony, Anthony Martial.
Mr. Iceman. Freaking got ice in his. This guy is cool as you like. This one, you know, and again, all of you guys have Martial agendas. Shove that up your ass. Because my man puts it away. He doesn't
Get
miss
out of
those.
here.
Get out of here. Yeah, hey, Martial. You know what? He does what Martial does. Hold up the ball. Fantastic. Freaking, he's such a smart footballer. And he got his goal today to shut up everyone as well. So 8.
Plus, his goal made the difference.
Yeah, and his goal made the difference. That's what you expect from Martial. And I had no stress when I seen him on the left. I was like, yeah, this is a goal, 100%.
Yeah, no. Like, I don't know what people have against Martial. Like, we're going to turn into broken records because he's so consistent in what he does. So, yeah, I think much like Fred, he's been very consistent and one of our best players in the last few weeks. So, I'll also give him an 8.
Definitely, I can agree with that. Marcus Rashford, out of 10.
I let Murray go first in this one.
I wonder why. He scored. Like, he wasn't.
I'm joking. I'm only joking.
Like, the thing is, he scores. He hasn't been having his best games, but he scores. So, like, this says a lot. So,
yeah,
I can't give James a 7 for assisting and like not give Rashford a lower rating when he was pretty much as productive. So I'll give him a 7 as well.
That's fair.
Yeah, I was gonna give Rashford a 7, by the way, but like, yeah, you know, this man just he can't stop scoring. You know, he finds a way every game to score, which is fantastic. But like again today, you know, I don't want to blame him because you guys are, you know, I heard you guys also like saying that's how Marcus Rashford is. You know, just driving in, you know, taking a shot, dribbling past defenders. But again, today, you know, it's just like, I want him to see him pick up his head and play in for the tap-in also there. Tap-in is there. Just give up the ball, you know, just pass the ball. He doesn't pass. He just doesn't pass.
There was this other one, like, I was just wondering, what the heck are you doing? So you drove down the pitch, and like, you did some other chip thing. I don't know what he was doing.
I
saw that.
Tough enough,
What's going on?
I think what he was trying to do was to set up Brandon Williams, and then it got cut off because Brandon Williams was making the run on the inside. Williams came off.
He's a goal scorer, but yeah, you know, I think like, you know, it's like Wan-Bissaka, you know, a good player, but you can develop, and if you develop, now you're reaching the next level.
Yeah, and goals win games. So.
I'm on the fence about Marcus Rashford. You know, I like Marcus Rashford, but that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. You look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, because that's who he's being compared to in his very young age. A lot of people who didn't like Cristiano Ronaldo or didn't like him for the same reason a lot of people don't like Marcus Rashford. He didn't pass. He was a very selfish player. And that led him to win, 5 or 6 Ballon d'Ors? Because he is one of the most dangerous and most prolific goal scorers in world history. Now, I'm not saying Marcus Rashford is anywhere near the level and the technical ability of Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of putting himself in good positions and all that jazz. But there is an argument to be had there, because the thing about Rashford is, yes, he doesn't make the intelligent decisions. Yes, he's not a technical footballer like Martial. But I think you hit a hammer on the head when you prefaced your point. That's who he is. That's how he plays. And I think trying to change that about him would, I don't know, I just feel like it would slow him down. I feel like Marcus Rashford is one of those players, like, he needs a lot of opportunities and he's going to score at least one of them. But the moment you say stop trying to look for those opportunities, then you decrease the chances of him scoring. Like, if he doesn't go for those crazy shots, he's not going to score those crazy shots, you know? So
yeah, true.
That's the thing about Marcus Rashford. And I would say the same about young Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, if you tell young Cristiano Ronaldo, okay, dude, you need to relax with your knuckleball free kicks, then he wouldn't have scored as much as he did. But you've got to give him the freedom. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. I think we've covered everyone on the pitch, so we move on to the bench players. I didn't really see much of the bench players. I think Lingard came on.
Yeah.
I think Lingard was the earliest of the three. I'll start this time. I'll start. I won't give him a rating out of 10, but I will preface by saying that I think Lingard made a terrible decision. You know, like when you're in primary school or high school, you know, and you get the ball in the box. If you have a good coach who's teaching you the fundamentals of football, they'll tell you that you're not supposed to take touches to try and get comfortable in the box. If you're a prolific goal scorer, you hit it first time because there's other players on the pitch trying to get the ball from you, and you don't have time to be looking for the sweet spot or trying to switch to your stronger foot. Like, you're a professional footballer, and I understand that Lingard's not a striker. But come on, man. Like, that was such an amateur move by him. And then, instead of controlling the ball and having composure, I don't know what he did. Like, it's almost as if he was like, Martial, I messed it up. Here's the ball. And he couldn't even pass it back to Martial properly. But beyond that, I didn't really see much of him. I'm just having a go at Lingard because I think that moment was terrible. And I think if United are going to make top four, or if United are going to improve, we need to be taking opportunities like that. It was the moment when Martial, or was it Rashford? I'm not sure. I think it was Martial.
It was Martial.
He didn't put it across to Martial, and he didn't finish it, so he gave it to Lingard for basically a tap-in kind of, from a bit further out, and he did nothing. He froze.
No, what he did was he had a heavy first touch, and he was trying to get it on his stronger foot, and the defender closed in. Which is, you can't do that. When someone passes you the ball in the box, you've got to hit it first time. You don't see Martial stopping the ball and trying to adjust his body and make sure his left foot is curling around the ball properly. No, he takes it first time, you know. I'm only just having a good Lingard.
Do you feel Lingard? I feel like Martial did the same thing though. Like, I feel like in that sequence, I blame Martial more than I blame Lingard, to be honest. Because yes, he should have hit, and there was defenders around him. So like, I blame him for that. But like, Martial, what was going on? He was here and like take the chance. Take the chance. Now this guy's going to control the ball and like
Yes, I agree 100%. Martial is at fault there, but he did score early on in the game. So,
and the thing is, like, even after Martial messed up, that Lingard chance still should have been a goal.
The thing is,
it was a goal.
It's okay for Martial to make a mistake. Yes, Martial should be scoring that, but I can forgive Martial because at least he scored early on in the game. You know, I don't expect Martial to put every chance away. He's human, for God's sakes. But like, Lingard, you have one chance, my boy, off the bench to show us why. You know, and I'm not even asking him to score that tap in. I'm just asking him to have a go. Like, don't just stand and freeze. This guy. But I honestly, I am just having a go at him.
I thought the game, but like, this dead substitution, game over. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. So, are you guys gonna give him a rating, or you think he didn't do much?
4.
You're poor Lingard.
Oh my
God. Go on holiday, you know, and then realize that his brand is fantastic, and then he's tired from football.
Poor Lingard. Like, he came on like he did nothing. Yeah? This is time when he chipped doing this 1-2. Like, okay, what is this? But besides that, like, this guy did jack shit. Yeah.
I think when Lingard came on and when Luke Shaw came on, those were just substitutions to eat up time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think Oli was trying to get
it. Oli and rating.
Guys, no, Lingard's done. Like, it must be
said. Lingard, I think Lingard's
he's done at Manchester United. And the only reason he's going to stay is because the board wants to milk him for his followers.
He's
that, isn't it?
The social media.
Even the kids love him. They're like, Lingard is good. What do you mean he's got good? When did he not become good? I was like, oh, do you watch football? Like, I understand you're 8 years old and stuff, but do you watch?
Okay, but let's be fair to Lingard. Like, I don't want to say it's down to the whole issues he's going through, but like this guy was quite decent a few months ago. I don't know what happened with this guy, because he was playing at the World Cup. He scored a couple of goals, but like the dip in his form has been incredible.
I think with Lingard, to be honest with you, it's not black and white. Like, it's not as simple as, you know, Lingard went from amazing to completely shit overnight. You know, I think with Lingard, he did play well against Manchester City. He did play well against. Did he play against
Arsenal?
Spurs? Did he start against
Arsenal as well? He's an Emirates specialist. Scores at the Emirates.
The thing about like with Lingard, I'm not even talking specifically about his goals or anything like that. I'm talking about his movement on and off the ball and what he does for the team going forward when he runs around. That's when I think Lingard is most productive. And I even remember talking to Reta like long time ago, even when Van Gaal was still our manager. I said, I like Jesse Lingard because I think he's a player who comes off the bench and he gives us a lot of movement in the middle of the park. He makes things happen with the way he runs off the ball. Now, the problem with Jesse Lingard is I think he went from being a player who was good off the bench to this overnight sensation during his Jesse Messi period. And people have raised the bar and kind of started judging him based on where Martial, Rashford, and all these other guys are. And it's like, at what point did Lingard become the number 10 we look towards to score and get us into the top 4? Like, when did that happen? Because as far as I'm concerned, this guy was just a bench player. Even when he was playing well, he wasn't really that amazing. I think people were just glorifying, you know, the fact that he was involved in the goals. Jesse Lingard is not an amazing footballer. He never was. No offense to him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's never really been a starter. You know what Lingard reminds me of? Jesus Navas. Because there was when Navas was really prolific, and then like out of nowhere he just disappeared. He really reminds me of Navas.
Except Navas was, you know, a speed merchant because he used to be really quick, and then I think he lost his pace and the rest of his game. But so, like, yeah, that's my opinion on Jesse Lingard. And the problem with Lingard is now he's started to have a dip in form, even with the basic things. Like, he's starting to make the kind of mistakes that you see from Pereira. And he's not young. Like, you can't give Lingard the same leniency you give Pereira. He's not young. He is a senior player at Manchester United, you know. Well, actually, he's been a prospect for like 10 years, but he's a senior player.
Yeah.
So
don't worry. Lingard's still developing. He's young, man. Give him time.
I will say this about Lingard, though. I think if Lingard is done at Manchester United now, then he shouldn't have really been here to begin with. You know, I think he's just not the guy, man. He's just not the guy.
He's not the guy. This man,
he's not the guy.
He's done.
Yeah, no.
He's not gonna sell him. I will say he's a squad player. If he is going to stay at Manchester United, he's just a squad player. He's a player we bring on against Astana, you know, when if we stay in the Europa League, that is. But we bring on in games like the games in Astana or like the league. What is it? The Carabao Cup. Yeah. Like, he needs to be a squad player. He can't be a player we rely on in the big games. Yeah. Especially not if he's not going to improve.
I feel like it's bound to backfire because, like, with more quality, it will mean like he will be a squad player and he won't play in the Premier League, and like the publicity won't really be that much if he's not seen on the biggest stage. So it's bound to backfire on this board, who are clueless in what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, so man.
Well, there's nothing much you can do. I think.
I just wanted to, you know, give an audio rating. You guys, I want to hear what you guys
I was about to say, let's go on to the manager ratings.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Take
the stage.
7. Why? Because I think he's learning from his mistakes. This is all I've been asking for. I've been seeing this every week in, week out. He's learning. Like, he didn't force the counter in the last 2 games. And, like, it seems like we look like a big team, and I'm really enjoying that. So, yeah, I think he had the last 2 games, good performance. I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah,
Interesting.
United's actually playing football.
Dude.
Interesting.
Yeah. Shawnee, what are you giving him?
I'm gonna give him a 6. I mean, I thought it was, this is everything for me. We needed 3 points, you got it. I didn't see anything that was above average, really.
The thing is, what more could he have done with that squad, though?
He could have went with the weaker team at Newcastle and the stronger team today. The fact that he played Pogba for 2 games and now he comes out now. Pogba played 2 halves and then now he's not at all. Yeah, like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, no. I blame him for
Bring
the
on
Pogba.
Greenwood.
I feel like I blame for the Pogba. I don't know why Pogba didn't play today. But I feel like I also would have prioritized that game. We're at home. It's 3 points. Like, if we're saying we're going to get 3 points either at Burnley or Newcastle, I'll throw everything at Newcastle and make sure we get the 3 points. It's an easier 3 points. Yeah.
Plus, I would also like to add that the Newcastle game was a lot more important than this game because of how badly we played at Watford. We needed to respond. I think...
He played for his job. He's like, I need to bounce back. So I don't blame him for doing it, but I don't care as forward.
No, that's not what it's about necessarily. And when we're talking specifically about this game, what it's about is, are Manchester United playing differently? Are Manchester United looking like a team that actually has a plan and a vision going forward? And are Manchester United looking like a better team than we've seen against Watford, against Aston Villa, against Everton? Abso-freaking-lutely. We created more chances than the Everton and the Watford game combined in that Newcastle and the game today. That's number one. Number two, I think we scored more goals than the Everton and the Watford game combined. Number three, we did it with a much weaker team, which shows that there is a system in place that even when we have lesser players on the field, there's a system. You can't deny that. There's a system. There is a system. Because
and I feel like
but to expand on this, if you're going to take shots at Ollie for playing counter-attacking football and our team not creating chances, then you've got to give Ollie credit when our team is creating chances because that's the coach's job. And United is creating chances. Yes, they dropped off in the second half, but we're not going to go from losing or drawing to Everton to all of a sudden playing every team out the park. That's not how it works. We've got to take baby steps and look at the progress. And I think the Pogba thing is irrelevant now because he got the 3 points. He won the game. The risk paid off. We've got to let go of the Pogba thing now. If we had lost, it would have been a different story. But
it's actually a positive because you got 3 points and got through as Pogba.
And Pogba's okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for Arsenal.
Yeah, Pogba
points.
The full
we got 3 points without Pogba, McTominay, and Greenwood.
I think the stats say everything. We have more position in the last 2 games, which we normally don't have. We have double figures in terms of shots and with a decent amount on targets. So I think those stats say everything about improvement.
Before the Newcastle game, Manchester United, when they've had possession, have gone on and lost or drawn or played really badly in all those games. Against Newcastle and against Burnley in the first half at least, we had a lot of possession and we did something with it. We actually got ahead in the game. And the only reason we dropped off in the second half today is not the reason why we dropped off in the second half today. I wouldn't say it's the same reason we dropped off in the second half in the past. In the past, it was almost like this indifference, this lack of a plan again. But in the second half today, it was because Burnley had to try come back into the game. That's what happens when teams go behind. They try to get back into the game, and when one team has the ball, the other team has to defend. That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, Man City were renowned for counter-attacking when they got 100 points because of that specific thing. Like when players come out, you have to counter and take advantage.
Exactly. Yeah. So, that's the thing with Ollie. You can be Ollie out, you can be Ollie in, but if you're gonna bash Ollie for our bad performances, you have to give him credit for the good performances as well. It's Martial's job to put the ball in the back of the net, duh. But that doesn't mean Ollie had no part to play in it, And that's what I would say. And no, Ollie is not redeemed by this result, but you just have to treat every result individually and not bring agendas into the way you rate people.
But I still think it was a 6 for me. I thought the first goal, we forced the mistake.
I can
and
agree
then the second
with
one was the counter, so...
I can agree with the 6. It was average. The game, the performance was average. The performance was good and better than what we had this season.
No, yeah, it was better.
But
And I'm
it was
happy
average.
got the 3
But
points
it
because
was
I felt
average.
like this game is even more important than the Arsenal game coming.
Yeah, like Manchester United should be beating Burnley anyways. So like, I'm not gonna act like Ollie, is at the wheel now. But it was better.
Yeah,
So-
no, my rating is all about the improvement and like the opponents. It's always going to be scruffy against Burnley. And up next is
Burnley's
Arsenal.
difficult
Like,
side to get points again.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I don't mind
Burnley's
us.
Yeah.
I don't mind us playing counter against Arsenal because Arsenal
Yeah.
don't have a defensive bone. They're gonna throw everything and you're gonna finish them.
I really hope they come and try
And we're
take
gonna
it.
beat them like 3-0.
Because
They will.
I
They
like,
will.
I agree with a lot of the fan opinion. Despite that how bad we are at stuff, there was one thing our team is
and-
good at, and that will be killing you on the break.
Dude.
We will
there's any-
urge our front attackers. They are mad. Martial,
If there's
Rashford,
any team,
James, please. We're
dude,
going to finish.
if there's any team you wanna counter against, it's definitely Arsenal because they have crap players defensively, but they still want to throw everything.
It's the title
And-
for the Panther Club coming up next game.
Yeah, definitely. Positive stuff, positive vibes. Well, I think that about wraps it up, gentlemen. Manchester United versus Burnley. Manchester United 2, Burnley 0. Walking into this game, a lot of skepticism about that team selection, but Manchester United went on. They won. They scored 2 minutes before halftime, and then they did it again towards the end of the game, breaking the hearts of the Burnley fans. And now we look ahead to the Arsenal game. Hopefully, Manchester United can follow up this early Christmas present, this early birthday present for Fergie. They can follow it up with something in 2020. Give us a result against Arsenal, boys. Come on, we know you can. Please leave a like on the video. Please do subscribe. This has been a good episode. Positive vibes. Hope you're enjoying your holiday, your evening, your afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Shawnee, like to say anything?
Nothing.
Before we end up.
There's a good 10th episode. It's the first of many episodes to come. Trust me, we will get better. And yeah, let's hope that we go to Arsenal. I don't want to speak too much on Arsenal because we'll do a preview. But yeah, let's hope we start off the new year with a win.
Definitely. Please do leave a like and peace.